Now we're ready to use the router to get a nice smooth edge to the wood. Now you'll see this is my homemade router table. What I've got is a straight bit in here, a straight cutter in here, and a long fence with a piece of Formica mounted on this side of the fence only. The idea is that as I push the wood across the cutter removes a certain amount of material, and this Formica takes it up. So as long as I keep it pressed firmly against the fence, it should give me a nice long straight clean edge along there, perfectly at right angles. I found this method is far superior than doing it on the planing machine, because you can get a nice straight edge on it. And if you've got a warped piece of wood, after a couple of passes you can straighten it up somewhat, as long as it's not too badly warped. So anyway, without further ado, what I'm going to do is put my safety glasses on, if I can find them. They're a bit swished, they're yellow. They're a bit worn out as well, by the way, now. So I'll put these on, I'll put my headphones on, and I'll turn the thing on, and we'll see how we get on. It will be a bit noisy, mind. But we like noise, really, don't we? Headphones, that's the important thing. It's very noisy. Here we go. Turn on. And that's the suction. And now, now, as I've only got two pieces, it's only necessary really to plane up the two edges, and hopefully they will fit together neatly. If you're doing more than two pieces, obviously the pieces in the middle need both edges planed, because there's another piece on the other side, but with two pieces you only need two. With the old oak piece, it was a little bit warped, so by doing both edges it does give me the option of switching them around, because sometimes if you can't get a good meet that way, you might find that if you turn them over that way they'll meet, or whatever. So it gives you an option actually that way. So that's the bits cut down. As I mentioned, it doesn't matter about the thickness, because that'll all come out in the wash, in the thicknesser, so to speak. But basically that's how I do the edges. And the next thing, I'm going to take them over to the bench and I'll show you how I clamp them up. Now what I'm using to glue them together is this woodworking adhesive. It's PVA, and I buy it in a large container. Now if you're an expert woodworker, don't watch the next few minutes, because you're going to be horrified and you're going to say, oh, what is that bloke doing? He must be out of his mind. But so turn off now and come back in about a minute if you're interested. But then again, if you're an expert woodworker, you'll be watching this, would you really? So, but if you are, I don't want people saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. I know you will, but you shouldn't be doing that. What I'm going to say is that when I come to use it, it wouldn't come out of the top of the can, because I'd had it in stock for some time, and it had gone off, so to speak, and it's like jelly. And I've got it. What I did, I cut the top off, not being a scrimper and not wishing to waste it. I thought I've got to use it, so I cut the top off the thing with a sharp knife and decanted it into some various containers. And this is some in here. Now, if you can see this in the camera, it's gone like sort of, it's a gel or jelly. But surprisingly enough, I thought, well, I'll have a go. And I stuck a few using this last week and left them overnight, and it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. So, you know, if you do get glue like this, you know, don't just chuck it away. Well, you can do if you want. It's obviously the correct thing to do, but I'm going to show you now. I'm going to use this perfectly fine. I've got a little putty knife, because I find it's the best way of putting this. It's no good trying to do it with a paintbrush. It'll take forever. So all I'm just going to do is just hold the two boards up like this on in the clamps, or clamps, what do you want to call them. And I'm going to get some of this gooey glue, and I'm just going to spread it on. I'm not too fussy about it. I mean, if it be too much, some of it's going to be wasted, but it doesn't matter, because it's sort of throwaway anyway. It's not going to last forever, is it, like this? So I might as well make use of it. Any little bits in it, just get them off. So having done that, I got the glue on, put that out of the way, got the clamps, just lay it down in the clamps like so. Don't worry about the glue on the surface at the moment. And then simply hold it down with your hand and just tighten them up. Don't do them too tight on the end ones, just do them sort of gently like that. Now before I do any more, I'm just going to scrape that surplus glue off, and all I do, I just scrape it off like that and just pop it back in the thing, because I can reuse that, can't I? I'm a scraper. Now you get a bit of cloth, and being a scrimper of course, it's one of my old shirts, isn't it? I'm not going to buy cloth, this is my old shirt. And I just wipe the worst off her now. As I say, it doesn't matter that it's going over the wood because it's going to be plain down anyway. If you're doing this and you haven't got a planer thicknesser, you might have to be a bit more careful with it, you know, because I'm not bothering because I can soon get rid of all that. So I've done that. What I'm going to do, normally I put one clamp in the middle, but because I've got plenty of cramps, I'm going to use 2 on this one, and it's a longer piece than normal. So I'm going to put another one on there. That one's stuck, look. Murphy's Law, isn't it? When you're filming, it all goes wrong. Put one about there. Just make sure it's level. Tighten him up. You don't need to do them too tight at this stage. Not when you're first doing them up. Well, that one about there. I'm putting these 2 on the top because that will tend to stop any tending to it to warp one way or the other by having it 2 in the middle that way and 2 at the back, if you see what I mean. Now I've got them done up now. I'm just going to go through and tighten them up a bit more. 2 on the end first, in the middle, and I just do a bit like this. Don't do too much so that it squeezes all the glue out, but you want it fairly tight because you don't want the glue line to show if you can help it. Now there's a little oak panel. As I say, that's one I did yesterday. And then obviously it'll need planer. Don't worry about the ends, I'll leave them like that because it helps when it goes through the planer thicknesser. Now, generally speaking, if you're crafty, if you do it properly and take a bit of care, you'll get it fairly flat on on one side anyway, and rough on the other. So what I do before I put it through the thicknesser, I don't put it through the thicknesser straight away like that because it's got a piece sticking up there and a bit there, and it'll have a job, you know, it'll sort of twist it out. So what I do, I choose the flattest side. In this case it's this side, I think, and then I get a little plane. I usually get a little hand plane, a little block plane like this is usually do it. This will do the job, one of my little block planes. And all I do, I just go over it and get all the lumps off the glue or anything. You can use a sander or you can do it by hand. Just get the worst off and try and get it fairly flat. You can use a belt sander actually to do it. What I do sometimes, I use a belt sander and I go across the grain like that and it levels it up. It doesn't matter about the marks on it at this stage. Right, that's that then. So all I'm going to do now, or what I will do, I'll put this one through the thicknesser so you can see what the final result is, because it wouldn't be fair to do it and not show you, would it? Right, I'm just going to run this piece through the thicknesser so you can see what the finished result's like. I just put my earmuffs on because it's quite a noisy machine. I'll turn on. I'm just going to trim the ends off on the radial arm saw to show you before you see the final result. Just you don't need a radial arm saw to do this, by the way, because I don't suppose many people got them. See how strong the glue is? That's still held together fine, look, even though it's right on the end. There you have it, one nice little oak panel made out of an old fireplace. I shall make something with that and stand it on my new fireplace as in memory of my old fireplace, and perhaps in memory of my little German Shepherd dog Max III, who passed away, who saved us when this fireplace caught fire. As I said, you don't need a lot of expensive machines to do this. I'm using very old machines, but even if you don't have them, you can do it with a hand plane. Of course, in the old days, they would have used something like this, a good old wooden jack plane. And believe it or not, this was thrown away about 2 years ago, and it was given to me rather than going in a skip. And I sharpened it up, and it's brilliant. It actually works really well for getting a nice flat surface. But it's harder work obviously in using the thicknesser. But if you've got one of these, you could do what I've done with one of these. But as I say, it does take a bit more time and effort and a little bit of skill perhaps. But don't be put off doing it because you haven't got all the equipment. There's always a way around it. It might be harder, but there is always a way. Of course, you can buy boards, I suppose. I don't know where you buy this type of wood from like this. I suppose you'd have to go to a specialist place. Maybe they sell it on eBay, I don't know, I haven't looked. But I like the idea of using something that other people are throwing away. In this case, it's my old fireplace, but in some cases it's an old drawer or an old window frame or something that somebody else has chucked out, and you make good use of it, and I get far more satisfaction from that than if I'd gone and bought some wood. Anyway, that's about all for now, folks. Well, I just thought I'd update you on some of the boards that I've made over the last few days. As you can see here, I've got quite a good pile of boards here. Most of them are mahogany or mahogany lookalike timbers, but there are some different ones there. This is a bit of beech, for example. A very nice piece of wood. That's 5 little strips joined together. We've got a piece of oak. I mean, that's joined up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in that. I think it's 4 pieces. I can't see myself. 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. But I think you'll agree that's quite a nice finish on there. We've got this piece here. I don't know what this is. It's I love the grain in it, the pattern. I haven't got a clue what it is though. I found it in the shed. I got several pieces like this. It's not very hard, but I think it's a lovely grain on it. I really like that. And this here is a bit of birch. I didn't even know I had that. When I cleaned the paint off it, I could smell it. I can tell woods by smelling, you know. I'm a wood sniffer. And that's a nice piece of birch, which is really nice. And as you can see, there's various different ones there. This is a bit of maple that I found in my uncle's shed after he passed away. And as you can see, it's still got the paint on it from the old kitchen cabinet. And this is what it looks like after I finished it. This has been through the planer, and as you can see, that's quite a nice piece of hard white wood. That's maple, white maple. Really nice that. I haven't got much of it. Anyway, as you'll see, I've been quite busy. There's a piece of mahogany, and you can hardly see the join in some of these. And I've got some bits of oak here. And I've even got some ash somewhere. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.